All right, let's get started. So what won the poll, if you guys didn't see it, was going over creative financing as a whole. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm also going to go over Deal Sniper if you guys need me to. I'm going to go over Realtor responses and how to kind of handle that for anyone who's new. And then we'll go over just a general Q&A after that with anything that you guys need to ask that I didn't cover. So first and foremost, Dwayne, did you have a question? You're muted if you're talking, by the way. All right, it's all good. So does anyone have a specific question about creative?
I did have a question. Sorry, I did have a question. All right.
Go for it.
So I have a contract right now that I was going to send out, and the realtor only wants to give me 7 days on it. And to my understanding, that's how long I have to find a buyer, correct?
Yeah. Is it calendar days or business days?
Business days.
Okay. So technically, depending on when they sign it, if you have them sign it tonight wouldn't count. Tomorrow wouldn't count. Sunday wouldn't count. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week would count. Then Saturday and Sunday won't count. Then you have Monday and Tuesday.
Okay, perfect.
So you essentially have closer to 2 weeks as long as it says business days.
Okay, perfect. And just in case, I mean, this is a hot deal, so I believe I can sell it quickly. I have some buyers kind of buzzing around it. I thank you. I appreciate this. This really helped me. I was working with some other people and it just wasn't clicking, but this thing, man, it really helped me out to understand this. So I appreciate it. And I was gonna ask so if I don't find a buyer in that time, what would be my action?
Oh, you mean like to cancel the contract?
Right. Yeah. Or get more time.
So you got one or two options. I'll give you both. If you're going to get more time, you let the buyer know, or I'm sorry, you let the seller know, look, I'm real close. I'm vetting out these buyers. I want to make sure they can actually deliver so we don't have any issues down the line. Give me a couple of more days. Let me finish vetting them out, and then I'll have a definite answer for you if we can move forward or not.
Okay.
So you can say something like that if you want more time, and then you just get an extension signed.
Right. Okay. Got it. Thanks. And then as far as and I'm sorry, I don't want to take too much more time.
Oh, that's what these are for. Go for it.
As far as like, if buyers are asking, I know not to give addresses, but things like zip codes, if it's not under contract, that's a no-go, right?
Yeah, don't ever give anyone the address until it's under contract. Once it's under contract, you're good. I mean, technically they can't snake the deal from you. The seller's in contract with you. And you should have a clause in your contract that says you can't enter into any other contracts while you're in this contract with me.
Okay, got it. And that's inside the one provided, or
yeah.
Should I? Okay.
Yeah, you can grab that one directly from the Discord.
Awesome. Contract sent out. Thank you so much.
No worries. Appreciate it. Oh, wait a minute. Answer your last question. How to cancel. So what you need to do is let the seller, the realtor, whoever you're dealing with, let them know in writing, either via email or text message the day before the contract ends. So that way you're not on the hook for the EMD. And usually that would sound something like, hey, here's what we found, couldn't get it done. Unfortunately, we're going to have to cancel the contract. Here's the feedback that I have for you that I got from my investors. I'll give you a call tomorrow to go over it. That way you have something in writing stating that you canceled. And then if they want to sign or you want to sign something more official, then you can do that the next day.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem. Okay. Does anyone else have a question about creative financing? That's what won the poll. So
yes.
I have. Oh,
no, go ahead, Olivia. You're good. You're good.
Mine's is real quick. The only question I was trying to figure out is, what if you just wanna? Is it okay to start with a different market, like kind of maybe where you guys are, to make it easier because I don't have buyers per se in my pipeline that are familiar or looking for this type of creative financing.
Mm-hmm.
So would it be okay to kind of start in a different market wherever you guys are? Because I'm just joining the group.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you exactly what cities you can. So first of all, My
Mhm.
disposition team is phenomenal. So they can find buyers just about anywhere as long as
Okay.
there's certain criteria. But
Okay.
it does have to fit that criteria.
Yeah.
The main baseline criteria, you have to be in a population of 500,000 or more.
Okay.
So you want to be in those types of cities.
Okay.
Ideally, you want to stay out of really rough neighborhoods, where there's a lot of violence, stealing, shootings, whatever.
Mhm.
Like, I'll give you a good example. You guys could bring me a deal for a property in Harvey, Illinois
Mhm.
for $1, and I won't be able to sell it.
Okay. I
Because
got you.
investors in Chicago know that part of Chicago, they just throw their hands up. They don't want it. It's too dangerous.
Right.
Secondly, for the specific markets, you can do, let's see, you can do St. Louis, Missouri. You can do Kansas City. Are you writing these down? You want me to talk slow?
Yep, I'm writing them down, but you can
Okay.
go ahead. I'm pretty good at typing. St. Louis, and then you said Kansas City.
Kansas City,
Mhm.
Birmingham, and then the cities surrounding Birmingham immediately. Those are pretty good too. Like, you can count those populations with Birmingham's population because it's
Okay.
kind of all the same thing.
Mhm.
Let's see. Dallas is good. San Antonio is good. Austin is good. Houston is good. Where else is good? Tucson's good. Phoenix is good.
Mhm.
Oh, Columbus, Ohio is good.
I'm
Cincinnati,
in Columbus. That's perfect.
awesome.
It's
Cincinnati
crazy
is
because
good.
there's actually I live in an apartment complex, but there's a house with a sign up like right across the street from me, and they're like for sale by owner, and I'm like, dang, maybe I should
Yeah, go
knock on the
knock on the
door.
door. Yeah, you absolutely should. Akron in Ohio, that one's
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Las Vegas is good. Jacksonville, Florida is good. Atlanta, Georgia is good.
Jacksonville is good. Okay.
The
I
bigger
don't know.
cities in Tennessee are good. Aspen's good.
Tennessee. Okay. Aspen, you said?
Yeah, and I mean, again, and
Mhm.
and anywhere where the population is
It's
really
500,000.
big. Yeah,
Okay. All right.
but you can
That
definitely start
works.
on those cities if you're planning on JVing with us,
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
especially Ohio.
Especially Ohio. Oh wow, I
Mhm.
like that. Because I'm here
Yes.
now. I actually just relocated from Florida, but I still have my license in Florida. I'm a licensed realtor there. So, and I'm just like, okay, I don't want to do the same thing I was doing, down there, chasing those buyers and, trying to do, my regular residential sales. Like it is a little stressful. Um, and I know that, nothing is easy, but I hope to kind of get, some creative deals done. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we're here to help you whenever you're ready.
All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Romney, what's up, dude?
Crap. I lost. So yeah. For example, let's say Oklahoma. Like, okay, for with wholesaling and whatnot, do you want us, like, obviously you have to pay attention like to the wholesaling regulations and all that, but
Hmm.
Oklahoma, for example, I have a deal in Oklahoma that I'm working on right now trying to get contracted, and I looked it up and it said that it's allowed, but you need to have like a license or something like that. But their definition of wholesaling is like advertising the property publicly, like, you know what I mean? So
Right.
like, if you already have buyers and all that, you're not really advertising it publicly. So, like, is there certain things that we need to look for, like in certain states?
The only state that I know for a fact to watch out for is South Carolina, because if I understand correctly, and there are loopholes, but you guys, anyone who's been on this channel for more than a week, know if you're not going to do it honest, just don't do it. That's my attitude. So there are loopholes. I don't know what they are, and if I did, I wouldn't use them anyway. It's like the POF thing. Some people who are maybe a little bit newer don't realize that in 2025, January 1st, the National Association of Realtors, or National Realtors Association, whichever way it goes, they announced that they're going to start cracking down on people who sends them fake, fraudulent, or inaccurate POFs, proof of funds. And you go to jail for that now. It's fraud. So anytime someone says, use this website for proof of funds, I'm like, no, don't do that. You're going to go to jail. And even if it's just a ticket, why bring that down, that kind of heat down? Just
Right,
tell them you're a wholesaler and you don't have to worry about a proof of funds. You'll get it from the buyer.
right. And then another question I have, and obviously, hopefully, that nobody in this group or like myself ever go through it, God forbid. But let's say, because at the same point is like one thing that I always get resistance on from realtors is like, why can't you just make it a cash deal? What can it be a cash deal, right? And then it's like, hey, look, there's a multitude of reasons why we can't. Obviously, if cash was an option for you guys, you'd have sold 8 days ago, right? And
Exactly.
so,
Good point.
yeah, and so basically, obviously, we are at this point now, at this crossroads where creative finance is low-key your only way out of this property for your seller. Let's go ahead and do it. And the off chance that we go ahead, get the contract signed, what have you, and then in the 11th hour, somebody comes in with a cash deal, and they're like, you know what, we want that, and they don't want to honor our contract. What's the next step? I know there's something with I know with off market, you can file a memorandum. Is that the
Mhm.
case in this as well? Like we can file a memorandum with the title company?
There is a way to, it's a little bit different than a memorandum, but it's essentially the same thing for on-market property. Here's my opinion. Even though I'm usually the guy that wakes up every morning choosing violence, I don't think that it's a good idea. For example, I've never filed a memorandum on anyone, and I've had 100 opportunities to do it. And if you're trying to build a relationship with a realtor, and I just told someone this with their own deal, like their first deal they got under contract, like they had to take their emoji off the ring the bell. But the same exact situation happened. The realtor called them and said, hey, we have someone giving us a full cash offer. We'd like to take it. And the guy, he wanted to fight. He told me same thing. He's like, hey, I have it in contract. They can't do that, right? No, they can't do that. But if you're trying to build a relationship with a realtor and the deal was already had to go to a homestead buyer. So the chances of selling it, I mean, it was there, the deal was good, but it's not like it was going to an investor. So I gave it like a 50-50 chance on if we could sell it anyway. I'm like, man, do the good deed, let them out. Now the realtor sees that you're a good person, you're helping them out, and then they'll think of you the next time they have one. This is a realtor now fighting to get you other deals because you took care of them. So that's just my opinion. You guys can do whatever you want. Yes, there is ways to stop it. It depends on the state. If you guys want me to do a video of how to do that, I'll do it, and then I'll just shoot you the link.
Got you. And so now you also brought a good point up with like a homestead buyer situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, when we get to that point where we determine that a property should go to a homestead buyer, obviously there's a couple of qualifications that get us to that point. The biggest one being that it doesn't cash flow.
Right.
Nobody, or at least some people, like their biggest motivation is getting rid of the house, but it doesn't sit right with them, or getting rid of the mortgage without getting something in return, like 10,000 or some cash to walk away with.
Right.
If it already doesn't cash flow, how do we get them to that point of like, hey, look, I can't give you any, is it just being upfront, like, hey, I can't get you any money because it doesn't cash flow, and here's the proof.
Wait a minute.
And
You're
then
not giving, if the deal doesn't cash flow, you're not giving them a down payment?
I'm just wondering, like, do we give them a down payment at that point or no?
Yeah, but you still give them a down. That doesn't, because here's the thing. So a homestead buyer is just someone who's going to buy the property and live in it. They just can't go to a bank traditionally. So they still understand they have to put down a down payment. Just they don't have to run their credit. Everything else is exactly the same, including the down payment. So if we're getting the assignment fee, just because the deal doesn't cash flow, that's not the seller's fault. Yeah, we still give them a down up to 10%. Still give them a down payment.
Okay, so we still give them a down payment, but obviously we don't give them any like seller finance amount because it doesn't cash flow.
No, they still get the monthly payment to pay off whatever we're seller financing.
Got you.
Yeah, they're getting their same money as if they sold it traditionally on market. They're still getting their equity. They're still getting even more than that if it's a deal sniper offer, because we offer more. We're still giving that to them. We still have to pay that asset off, and by we I mean the end buyer.
Right.
So yeah, you still give them even if the deal doesn't cash flow, the terms don't change.
Okay. So now that like brings up another question, right? Obviously we're using Deal Machine and the calculator and Deal Sniper to come up with, okay, this is what it rents for, this is how much we can give you in order to leave room for cash flow for our investor. If it's a homestead buyer, they're living in it, right? And we're still giving them down payment. What's that determining factor of how long the term is going to be for that seller finance amount? Like,
Well, see, that's a very good question. So it is much easier. Let's say you have bad credit, right? You can't qualify for a traditional mortgage, but you come across a seller financing deal. You move into the house. It's got a 7-year balloon on it, and now it's time to pay them off. You don't have the cash. What do? You have to refinance the house. Well, since you can show that you have owned and been paying on this house for however many years the balloon is, the bank now will give you, I mean, automatically will give you a mortgage, a loan to refinance that house because now they want your business. And even though your credit was messed up, so you couldn't go through them before, you've proven that you can pay this mortgage off. So all you have to do is show them proof. Then you get a mortgage, you refinance, or you pull out a second, whatever you want to do. No, it would just be refinance. And then you refinance whatever the payoff is, and you pay the seller finance off at the balloon.
that makes sense. Okay. And so what, like, because I'm still like curious about how much, like, you know what I mean, we're allowed to give them, not to kill the deal for a homestead buyer. You know what I mean? Like, down payment, I understand. Like, hey, 10% of the purchase price, that's easy, right? But what's that determination of like, hey, you get $150. Oh, you get $300 a month for X amount of years.
Oh, you mean because we can use the cash on cash return
Exactly.
percentage?
Exactly.
Okay.
So how do we come to that determination of like, hey, you're gonna be, the max we can give you every single month is $100 or $250 a month or whatever the case may be. Obviously, we're gonna take care of the mortgage, and the homestead buyer is gonna service that to make sure that the house isn't going to foreclosure. But that seller finance amount, how do we determine like, hey, it's gonna be 10 years, 15 years? Obviously, the longer the better, and without a balloon would be more favorable. But what's that determination of like, hey, we're gonna pay you $200 a month for until it's paid off, or $300?
So what I typically do in that situation is I'll take whatever the property will rent for, and then I'll add about $250 to $350. And I'll look at that payment and I'll see, does that make sense for this house for someone who lived in it and who had a mortgage? Another thing you can do, you can put it into, you can put it into the deal machine calculator and put it in at today's current rates. So put your deal in the way that it is as a seller finance. And then where I have 0%, put today, Google, what's today's current mortgage rates? And then
Like
whatever interest rate it gives you, put it in. And
Okay.
it'll tell you what that payment should be.
Gotcha.
If that payment is lower than the seller finance if it's lower than the seller finance payment, you're good. You can sell
Okay.
the deal all day.
Okay.
If it's significantly higher, then you need to drop that monthly payment that's going to the seller, because just because people can't go to a bank doesn't mean that they're going to pay a ridiculous amount of money every single month. Plus, we don't want to be responsible for putting someone in a situation where they can't keep up the payments. At
Okay.
least I don't.
Okay. And then obviously, what did I want to say? It'll come back to me.
You sure?
Okay. Like, okay. You're what's it called? I'm a realtor. You're me, right? We're going to this homestead situation. How would you explain to me, the realtor, what it is that I'm trying to do? I know you went over it before, but I want to get a better grasp at it, because I just grasp.
Well, when you say what you're trying to do, what's the situation?
So the situation is, hey, property doesn't cash flow. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna resort to trying to get a homestead buyer to take over not only the mortgage but also be able to pay your seller monthly, like seller finance.
So
How
this
would
is a
I explain?
hybrid.
Yeah, so hybrid
Okay.
deal. How, and that doesn't cash flow, obviously, hence why you're using the homestead buyer. How would you explain that to a realtor in order for them to be like, okay, like, this is unconventional, but this is the only option we have left. Let's go ahead and try it.
How long has the house been on the market?
173 days.
Okay. So I would say something along the lines, I would say, look, here's the situation. I deal with investors 90% of the time. And investors, they give me their very strict margins on what they want to cash flow. And I'm going to send you a screenshot as soon as we hang up. But you'll be able to see from that screenshot, this deal absolutely does not cash flow. But I also have 10% of my network are homestead buyers, people who can't, for whatever reason, get qualified at a bank. So here's what I want to do. I still want to put the property under contract for 2 weeks. Give me 2 weeks. Let me vet out these homestead buyers. I'll see which one have the money to close. I'll see which one has the money and the means to keep it going. If I find someone to take this deal down, great. If not, you're just in the exact same spot you were 2 weeks before. And it's been on market for 180 days. So at this point, I mean, we got to do whatever we can to get this thing sold, right?
Right.
That's it.
Got you. Okay. Cool.
Or your version of that. I mean, sound like you. Don't try and sound like me.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to just get a cliff notes.
That's the great thing. Someone asked me the other day, Sean, what do I prefer now since Deal Sniper exists? Do I prefer off market or on market? I prefer. This is okay. For those of you guys that don't know, Leo, don't laugh. I'm crazy. I've got 6 different people in my head all at the same time. So half of me really likes on market deals because I can speak to the realtor just direct. Look, here's the situation. Here's where we need to be at. If you're willing to do it this way, we can get the deal done. If not, hey, no big deal. There's no schmoozing. Here's the other thing though. The other half of me really prefers off market because the people who are off market need the most help. And I like helping people. So it really depends on how you guys want to do it. But if I'm in the right mode, yeah, I prefer on market deals. I want to just have a very blunt, very real conversation with the realtor. If they're open to creative financing, cool. Let's figure out what terms we can make this work. Here's what my buyers need. Tell me what your sellers need. Let's see what we can do. Let's get this house sold. It's been on the market for 180 days. It's ridiculous. Let's get you paid. Let's get us paid. Let's get them moved out. That's it. To be honest, off market needs help. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Okay. I think he got kicked out again. That's been happening to him since the beginning. So we're going to move on. Does anyone else have a question about creative financing? Seller finance, subject to, hybrids, down payments, anything?
Can you say that again? Because I got logged out for some reason.
Yeah, I was just saying that. Like, you've been getting kicked out since the call started. No, I was asking if anyone had any more questions on creative financing as a whole.
I got a response from a realtor that said you would need to escrow the loan for your monthly payments to be higher. What did she mean? Like, I didn't understand that when she said that.
She was saying that you would have to add the taxes and insurance to that monthly payment in order to get that payment higher. I don't know what that has to do with her end, but maybe. And here's another thing too, guys. Because I see you guys, sorry, Mom, talking mad shit about realtors in the Discord when they don't know what's going on or they ask you to explain or something. Creative financing, while 100% legal, legit, everything's cool, is not mainstream. Even with all the people talking about it in all these groups, all the gurus, all the YouTube, it's not mainstream. It's just not.
It's not. Take a look at me. I'm a whole realtor. And I only know about it because I used to work with Jamil and I heard a lot about PACE. That's the only reason why I even know. But to sit down and do what I'm doing now with you guys, it took this group for me to actually look into it and actually just do it. Because I was so scared and it wasn't clicking. It wasn't making sense. I was like, what are these people talking about? Like, because all we can think about in our minds is this is what they taught us in a real estate course. Work your deals like regular. Everything else is illegal. That's what they think in their mind, that this is extremely unethical. All of it.
Exactly. And that's coming from a realtor. You have to have 2 things. One, like some of you guys get real mad, and I just like shake my head on when I'm reading this because it's like, why? First of all, why are you getting so mad? Like, relax. It's just a text message. But you have to understand where they're coming from, and then you have to have the ability to explain it to someone who truly has no idea what it is. They've never seen one of my videos. They don't know who I am. They don't know who PACE is. All they know is you go to a bank, you get an approval letter. I know that you're a good client. Okay, cool. We can accept your offer. That's what they do. So let's go over that. Let's talk about how to talk to a realtor. And you know what, Olivia? We're going to use you. So if I say anything, if I
Mhm.
say anything wrong or anything like that, please let me know.
Okay.
Real quick before you start,
What's
because
up?
from my personal experience from like doing door-to-door sales and roofing and all that, because I remember a while back I told you that's what I do. We try to get rid of the objections out of the way first, right? Because people's first instinct is to always say no, right? Because you're coming to the door to either sell me something or you're a Jehovah's Witness, whatever the case may be, right? What
Right?
I've been doing with my emails, I've been telling them and all the objections that I've been getting as I've been getting them, I've been adding it to the what's it called, to my prompt, just to copy and paste. So
Hmm.
at some point, like whether like all the questions, like whether like and I tell them this offer is cash in their pocket, buyer is responsible for closing costs and property tax and insurance and all that stuff. And regarding commissions, we'll take care of that as well. All the questions that they might have, all the objections that I've gotten. At some point, do you think you're gonna implement that into Deal Sniper, like the prompts that we have already like existing? Like you guys are gonna change that?
We were thinking about changing it, and then we went through the entire channel of all the different things that everyone is saying that they're saying,
Right.
and there's so many variations. We figured it would be better for just let you guys kind of work with whatever
Gotcha.
you find that works best
Hmm.
for you.
Makes sense.
However, if we get a majority vote and everyone says, yeah, change it, we'll change it. But here's the thing, like you have one that you already have set, right? If we put in one by default, it may not look like yours. So
Right.
now you have to change it again anyway.
Makes sense.
Okay. So let's talk about what realtors are scared of when dealing with wholesalers. Okay, here's the first thing that I heard. Now, this is all, I've never been a realtor. So this is all things that I hear from my realtors and then even the realtors that are in the Discord. And then Olivia, like I said, correct me if I'm wrong. Wholesalers are going to steal my deal and I'm not going to get any commission.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing that I have found that you need to let the real estate agent know the soonest. That's why I put it as the last line when a realtor asks for proof of funds in that whole spiel. It's in there. We want them to know. Romney, I think you say you cover it. You cover it in the initial email. Hey, I'm paying your commission. Don't trip.
Yeah. Okay, and that leads me to my next point. I don't disclose that I'm a wholesaler until I get like a favorable response back, get them on the phone, have a conversation, build a rapport, and then I disclose who I am and what it is that I do. Do you think I should go ahead and put that in the email?
This is probably going to sound off for some of you that have been listening to these for a while. I actually have no problem with that because sometimes you have to manipulate the situation so that you can help them see what you're trying to say. And if that means that you have to build rapport first before you drop the quote unquote bomb that you're a wholesaler, not the end buyer, I think that that's absolutely fine. Because if they're open to receiving the information that you're giving, not knowing that you're a wholesaler, but you 100% tell them before you sign anything that you're a wholesaler, I have no problem with that. I think that's fine.
Because what I tell them is like, look, at the end of the day, I break it down. I'm like, look, I'm an investor, right? But wholesaling is an exit strategy that I use frequently. And I don't know yet, but this may be an exit strategy that I might have to exercise for this property. It's just a matter of finding like a proper end buyer and seeing how much rehab and all that. And then when it's like I make a determination of, hey, enough rapport is built. Hey, look, Lisa, just for example, Lisa Larkin is one of the realtors I'm talking to.
Shout
Um,
out Lisa.
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and it's looking like I've already brought this like to several of my buyers. I have multiple in this market that are interested. I am gonna wholesale this property. Are there any objections or anything like that? Like I already talked to them about your commission and all that. That's gonna get taken care of. You can like double end on both sides, buyer and seller. And I haven't had an issue since then.
I mean, that's part of the reason why we don't add anything to the letter because your letter is geared towards your style of doing it that way. So, yeah, I think that's fine. However, Olivia, what do you think?
Sorry, I'm here. um, I missed a little bit of the last part that he just said. So, Can you recap it really quick? I'm sorry.
Yeah, essentially, he lets, so you know the offer that Deal Sniper generates, right?
Mm-hmm.
He essentially lets them know that their commission's going to be covered, that
Mm-hmm.
you guys don't have anything to worry about,
Mm-hmm.
and then he builds rapport with the realtor
Mm-hmm.
before letting them know that he's going to wholesale the deal. Still, commissions, everything is covered, but
Mm-hmm.
he lets them know that he's a wholesaler at that point. What's
At
your
that,
opinion on that?
I think that, and I might be a little bit, maybe biased. I think it's fine. Um, but I kind of would just tell them up front. Just
Gotcha.
make it easy for yourself. Get it out the way. It's like the elephant in the room. Just get it out the way, and still reassure them and let them know that you're gonna be paying. You're gonna be paying for their commission.
Gotcha. And let me ask you this. Is telling a realtor that we have no problem if they want to double end the deal and represent us as the buyer's agent and we'll cover that 3% commission. Is that an enticing statement for us to say, hey, if you want to double end this thing, go ahead, I don't care?
Very, if they are okay with it and they feel good doing it, that is very enticing. Yes.
Now, what would make a real estate agent not feel good about double ending a deal?
I would say lack of education, honestly.
Just on the creative part.
On the creative part, yes. And just not under, maybe not under, because I remember my first time hearing it, and I immediately was like, "Whoa, wait, you can do that?" It was a big question mark to
Hmm.
me. And then, once another realtor, which is my cousin, she reaffirmed, to me, yes, it's okay for you to do this. Like, it's normal. And I don't know, maybe scared of money when I heard it. But yeah, definitely enticing.
Gotcha. Okay. That's good to know.
So Olivia, question for you. What
Hmm.
was it like? Did your cousin were you like reassured because it was your cousin telling you, or did she say something in particular that was like, you know what you're saying is making sense. That I'm good with that.
Oh no, it's because what she said to me to explain it made sense, the education behind it, and she gave me examples of it as well, and then so I was fine with it, not because she was my cousin, no.
So it sounds like to me that we all need to get better at explaining creative financing quickly because we're not going to have if they don't know this, it's new, it's going to be scary. You don't have a lot of time to tell them what the deal is. So we need to come up with our own method or our own analogy, whatever you want to use, to explain in very simple terms what our deal is, whether it's a seller finance, a subject to, or a hybrid.
Yes, I have spoken to other realtors, and well, obviously I have a whole bunch of realtors in my network. And when I tell them about this, one of their biggest, things is, I don't understand. Like, that's the first thing that comes out, and they don't want to understand. And then they get to asking me all well, how do you do this, Liv? Like, well, show me, help me understand. It just doesn't click. So try to make it as simple as possible, just like you said, and educate, as much as you can right up front, and so that way they understand and can just get it out the way that this is what we're doing.
So I think the best way to do that, and I completely agree with you, is to let's explain it from the buyer standpoint. Let's see if we can put it in a perspective that they would, because most realtors know investors. They know the concept of having a rental property. So we just explain it in very simple terms. The way that I explain it to you guys when you're new and you come to me and you have me break it down. Look, our buyers want a cash flow. So they're not looking to flip the property. Actually, the house is in really good shape. It's rent ready as far as we're concerned. So in this city, Birmingham, Atlanta, whatever, in here in Birmingham, I have 9 buyers that exclusively go through me. They literally pay me to bring them deals like this. I know for a fact that if I can get close to the terms that I sent you, 4 or 5 of them will jump all over it. That's how you explain what you're doing. Now you need to explain why the buyer is okay with this type of deal. Look, my buyers want a cash flow. They're not flipping the property. They're not going to resell this thing in a couple of years. They're going to hold on to it and probably will it to their family. So they don't care about paying over what you guys are asking for because they're going to make it up in equity over time anyway. Again, they're not selling this property anytime soon. The property is in decent shape. They may do a little bit of work to it. Then they're going to put a tenant in there and they're going to collect the cash flow. From the cash flow that's coming in, whatever the seller financing portion that Deal Sniper generated, let's say it's $500. Out of the cash flow, the rent that my buyer gets every single month, they're going to pay you $500 on the first every single month until we hit the balloon. Once the balloon gets in, whatever balance we owe you, we're going to pay you off. You guys walk away scot-free. My buyer has his house. That's cash flowing. That's it. That's what's going on. Like that's, I know. And again, for anyone who's new to this, is like, oh yeah, it's easy for you. Once you guys understand the mechanics of what is actually happening, you guys can articulate a way to explain it that fits best with your personality. That's mine. I'm very direct. I'm straight to the point. This is what's happening. This is where we need it. Can you make that work? Yes? Cool. No? All right, I'll call you in a month because it's still going to be listed. Now, does anyone have any questions off of anything that I just explained?
Yeah.
Anyone?
So
Go
I'm
for
coming in 30 days later, 40 days later. How do I not sound smug? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, that's easy. Yeah, you tell them, you shoot them a message or a phone call. It's something like, "Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Realtor, I don't know if you remember me. I sent you an offer on 123 Main Street about a month ago. I know your seller said that they weren't really looking for a creative offer, but it's still listed, and I'm just trying to help you guys out. Any chance you can ask them again if they would be interested in my offer?" Olivia, does that sound smug?
No.
And it doesn't have to be just like that, but it's not in what you say, it's how you say it. It was my tone. So maybe don't do it over text or email. You can, and you can still use the exact same words and you won't sound smug. But if you want to get that point across, do it over the phone. Use your tone of
Yeah.
voice.
I would call to say something like that.
Yeah. You just come out for, hey, I'm just trying to help. If they're interested, my offer is still good. I noticed the property is still listed. Maybe they're a little more motivated to sell. If you wouldn't mind just giving it one more shot, here's my offer again in case you don't have it. And then forward it to them. Any variation of that'll work. I am a huge believer that realtors and wholesalers should be on the same team all the time. We've got the same goal and we're in unique positions to help each other in a real big way. There shouldn't be this opposition. And that mostly comes from bad wholesalers and bad wholesalers taking advantage of real estate agents who didn't get the proper understanding of the deal, if we're talking about creative. So now that's just reaffirming all their teaching that says anything other than cash is illegal because they got burned by a bad wholesaler. And then they tell that to other realtors, and now wholesalers have bad reputations.
so, in regards to like bad wholesalers putting a bad taste in a realtor's mouth, of all the cities that I've like tried doing offers for, the one that I've noticed the most has like in the listing, no wholesalers, no assignments, no nothing, is Memphis, Tennessee, right? And
Okay.
so do you think it's a matter of like, I don't know, maybe because I'm just like stubborn? Do you think it's a matter of calling because these properties are on market for like 160, 170 days. Do you think it would be at that point like beneficial to call the realtor, but hey, look, I read the listing. It says no wholesalers, no nothing. I completely understand. I don't know if you had a bad experience in the past, but I'm reaching out because I have buyers interested in this property. I wanted to see if you'd be willing to reconsider that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's perfect. Because that phone call will let you know at least where you stand on if you should even revisit this property. You have that phone call. If they say, all right, look, yeah, that's fine, then okay. If they say, nah, hell with you, don't ever call me again, Okay, well, just cross that one off your list, and maybe Memphis, Tennessee, just isn't the place for this.
So I have another question. So I've
Hold
come
on a
across.
second. Wait. Hold on, dude. Let me just double check with him. Does anyone else have a question? I have no problem answering your questions, but I just want to give everyone another chance.
You're good. You're good.
Does anyone else have a question about realtors or how to? Because that's where we're on. We're still going to do the open Q&A when we're done with this part. But does anyone else have a realtor question? Okay, then we're just going to transition to the open Q&A right now. All right, go ahead, dude.
So I came across a situation where they said, "Hey, we don't want to put assignments in the contract because we've had a similar deal in the past," and they canceled within the inspection period. So I'm assuming it's a wholesaler that just couldn't find a buyer. Do you
Right.
think I should ask just to get some more details of why the previous potential buyer fell through on the deal?
No, I think what you should do is you should say, you know what? I'm really sorry that happened. It sounds like that wholesaler didn't really do right by you guys. Let me explain to you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to promise you I'm going to bring you a buyer. I know that I have buyers that are interested in this type of property, in these types of terms, in this area. I'm going to push the deal to them for 2 weeks. That's all I need. They're a little slower than I like to work, but what are you going to do? I'm going to push it to them for 2 weeks. I'll figure out which one of them wants to move forward. As soon as I identify that person, I'll submit to you proof of funds. I'll submit to you EMD, and then we'll get the escrow open and we'll get started. If I don't find anyone, at least you're in the, you haven't really spent anything. You're in the same position you are right now, but then you've got some more feedback. I'll share with you all the feedback I got from my investors to maybe help your sellers make a different decision with the listing. That's what I would say.
Gotcha.
Or something like that. Okay. Does anyone else have a question about anything pertaining to wholesaling?
Yes, me.
What's up, Leslie?
On the line of the EMD and POF, this morning, one agent tell me he need the name of the buyer to be under EMD, the name on the contract to be under EMD and the POF, so they can verify. How you deal with that?
Did you tell them that you're a wholesaler?
Yeah.
Okay. So it would be a little variation of what I normally say. And I would just reiterate to them, hey, yeah, no problem. I'm going to assign this contract over to them, or we can do an amendment once I identify the buyer. That way, the contract, the POF, and the EMD will all match. I just need 2 weeks. So essentially what you're saying is I'm going to sign it as the buyer right now. Once I find the buyer, we're going to change the contract to the buyer's name. That way the POF and the EMD matches.
Okay.
That's essentially what you're saying.
All
And
right.
but don't use the terminology, we're just going to change the contract. The terminology is we're going to use an amendment, and then we'll put the new buyer's name on there.
Yeah.
You don't want them to think you're going to do some shady shit. Amber, what's up?
Okay, so when it comes to the contract, for example, what we were talking about earlier, it was, what did she say? She was asking me about the terms. I explained everything so that she could relay it to what she called her customer. But obviously that'll be the seller. How would I go about giving her the information that she needs for the contract? For instance, if the realtor is representing me as the buyer, how does that, could you break that down for me, please?
Okay, so let me make sure I'm understanding. You got a deal, a potential, and they want to use their contract, which is fine. You're going to have...
They want to use their title company. So I felt it would be better for her to do the contract.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's all fine. So what I would do is, it's a seller finance, right?
Yes.
So write up the contract like I show you in the video.
Mm-hmm.
And then just email it to them and say, hey, here's the contract I typically use if you want to pull the information from there. And then they'll do it. They'll just incorporate that over, whatever your specific clauses are.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Are you paying the realtor? Are they going to represent you as the buyer?
I did, yes. If she's going to take that route, then yeah, of course.
Yeah, she's getting 2-3% on the deal for doing this contract. Yeah, they'll do it. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Nice deal, by the way.
Thank you.
Who else? Did someone else have a question? I thought I heard someone else talking. Or am I tripping? There's 6 of me. Could have been one of me. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? If not, we can cut out early tonight.
Okay. One more question. So
Go for
let's
it.
say somebody's afraid of like assignments or whatever the case may be because of like a bad experience with a wholesaler and they just kept assigning it back and forth to other people, whatever the case may be. Is there a way where we can put specific language to say that the initial assignment is pre-approved by the seller and then any corresponding assignments would need to be like have written permission from the seller prior to doing that, or would that be overcomplicating things?
Why would there be multiple assignments?
So basically, this was one in Texas. I think the guy was just like, I don't know, he would assign the deal and then something would fall through, then he would have to assign it to somebody else. I don't know. I don't know the logistics behind it, but because of that, it just put a bad taste in the homeowner's like mouth about the whole assignment process. Like, oh, like you know what I mean? So I was
Yeah,
just like,
no, I
is there
do.
any way that can add to the contract just to give her some peace of mind?
I mean, you can't. I'm not a lawyer, so you can. I don't initially see any issue with it, but I think if you have the conversation with either the seller or the realtor, like I mentioned it earlier, like, look, I'm not promising I'm going to find a buyer. I'm telling you that I'm going to go through my network of investors that are local to this area, that like this neighborhood, they like this kind of house, and they like these kind of terms. And I'm going to push it to them, and I'm going to see if they're interested. If they're interested, I'm going to bring them to you, and we're going to close. If not, hey, it didn't cost you a dime, and I'm doing all the work. I think if you say it like that, instead of saying, just leaving it as, oh, I'm going to assign it to a buyer, then that should alleviate their concern. If it doesn't alleviate their concern, then at this point, I don't see any reason why putting that kind of line in the additional term section is going to be an issue.
Gotcha.
I would try and work the other angle first because I'm good at a lot of stuff, but I'm not a lawyer.
Gotcha.
Leslie, what's up, dude?
Yeah, 2 things. I need you to go over the calculator with me again, if you please.
Okay. What,
And
anything in particular on the calculator?
Well, it seems like I'm missing a step or something. Second thing, I don't have the new calculator you have. Can you send that link for me too?
Sure. I'll put it in this chat right here. Copy link.
Now, because I went to the Discord, it's the same old one I have in the Discord.
All right. So it's in the call chat right now. And let me show you another thing because I did see your message earlier in between my meetings. Can you not enter any numbers anywhere on the calculator?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what you need to do. When you open the calculator, go to File, go to Make Copy, click it. This will pop up. You can name it whatever you want. You can leave it the same name. And then click that Make Copy button. And when you do that, it'll open up a copy that you can actually edit and type on. I think that's the only thing you're missing.
No, because that's the one I have. I don't have the one with the new information that you put in it.
Well, I just put it in the group in this call chat just now, so you should be able to grab that link. If not, I think I can email it to you too if you want. Or I can put it in the Discord and tag you. You want me to put it in the Discord and tag you?
Yes, please.
Okay. Give me 1 second. There you go.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. So did you still want to go over it or?
Yes, go over it again because let me ask you this about the cash to seller. Does it have to be 10% or is 10% max? I can start.
Cash to seller. You're talking about the down payment.
Yeah.
It's 10% max of the purchase price.
Okay.
So in this situation, the most I'd be able to give them would be $43,000. In this situation, the most I'd be able to give them would be $16,000. No, 17. So the most you're going to give them is 10% of the purchase price, or if it's a sub 2, 10% of the mortgage balance.
Okay.
You want to open up the calculator and see if you can get it working while we're still on here?
Hold on.
Take your time. Does anybody else have a question?
Real quick, Sean, I heard you to say something, but you said it kind of fast. So you said 10% of the down payment would be 10% of the, can you say that last part again?
Oh, sure.
Mhm.
Wait, have you not used this calculator yet?
No, I just got in the group last night
Oh,
and I
you
had
know
a lot
what?
to do earlier.
Let's do this. We'll end the
Mhm.
training because it doesn't seem like a lot of people have questions, but the two people who do, it has to do with the
Mhm.
calculator. So we're gonna end the training with me
Okay.
doing the actual deal.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
I'm going to pick, ooh, yeah, let's do New Orleans. All right, I'm not going to do this house, obviously, because it's only been listed for an hour. So here's how I set up my filters. Okay. Nearby homes for sale. And again, you can just do this, go to Redfin and type in your market. That's fine. The only filter that I ever check is this one here. Time on Redfin. Zillow, Trulia, Realtor, they all have one. And I'm going to pick 90. And then I'm going to zoom out just a bit. And now in this area, there are 667 places I can put offers on. Now, if you want to get technical, and for newer people, it's so much easier to stick to properties that are 350,000 or less. I don't change this because I know that. But if you guys don't want to be like, oh crap, I accidentally sent an offer on $1 million property. I don't know how you did that on accident, but that's okay. I'm gonna give you a pass. Then just go ahead and set this setting up. And the reason for that, in case anyone's curious, is you got to think of it as simple math. I'll show you just real quick. Let's say this property here, right? Now this one's a little expensive. It's 430,000. So the total entry fee for this property is $67,000. It's 14%. It's below 15% for the entry percentage. This will make sense for those of you who don't get it when I do the example. This is a good deal, right? But how many investors in, I don't remember what city this is, but how many investors have access to just $67,000 cash to put down on a $450,000 house?
New
Now,
Orleans, right?
huh?
I think you said it was New Orleans, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So now what if the property was $1 million? What's 10% of that purchase price? That's $100,000 plus your closing costs, plus your assignment fee. And what if there's a realtor involved? Now we're talking a potential $150,000 entry fee. There are buyers. I don't want to give you guys the wrong idea. There's a lot of buyers that can and will do that, but not as many as the ones that can just do $50,000. So if you want to have the highest opportunity of selling your deal to an investor quickly, you want to have your properties cheaper, because then your entry fee is cheaper, especially if your cash on cash return is good. All right, so let's look at a deal. Let's pick one. All right, I'm down for, oh no. All right, well, this is a good opportunity to answer this question. So how do you offer on properties that need a ton of work, like this one? This one's completely gutted, right? First and foremost, you shouldn't, because I mean, you can, it's got to be a hell of a deal, because what we're asking the investor to do is pay first of all, they're going to pay this purchase price. They're going to pay the down payment. They're going to pay the closing costs, realtor fee if there's a realtor involved, our assignment fee, and then $50,000-$60,000 and 2 to 3 months worth of work before they see a dollar in rental money or to flip it. So it's got to be a really good deal for you guys to be putting offers in on houses like this. If you're going to do it, how long has this one been listed? 91 days. I would say Deal Sniper is going to offer more on this property. At the minimum, kick this back down to the actual listing price, not the Deal Sniper number, because Deal Sniper is always going to add a bunch of money on the asking price as an enticement to get them to do creative financing. It's like a lure. I mean, it's not a trick. They are getting that money. But in this situation, if it was this property and needs this work, I wouldn't let Deal Sniper do it. I would change it back down to at least this, if not $10,000 to $20,000 less, and then build my creative offer off of that. So let's not use this one. Let's pick a different one. What about you? You in good shape? Duplex? That works. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the address. Been on market for 93 days. All right. I'm going to take it to Deal Sniper. I'm going to paste it in here. It's going to bring up the deal. It'll scrub all the numbers for me. So as you can see, they have it listed for $260,000. Been on market for 93 days. Do you know if they have a mortgage? No, you don't. So you click no. And you can see the purchase price changed to just about $285,000. So Deal Sniper added money to the purchase price. Again, like, hey, your property's been on market for 90 plus days. Here's an above asking price offer. And then the realtor opens it and they're like, oh, let's take a look at this. And then if they're into it, cool. If they're not into it, it's your job to educate them if they'll talk to you. The next thing you always want to do on Deal Sniper is clean up your numbers. Deal Sniper is an amazing tool. It really is. But on this part of Deal Sniper, it's just a calculator. So it's going to give you down to the pennies what you should be offering. And human beings, you guys don't like that. So we're going to clean them up and round them off. So we'll do that. Then we're going to change the down payment to just a flat $20,000. It just needs to make sense. It was 19 and some change it to 20. And then same thing with the monthly payment. Who in the world wants $890.96? Now, there's always a debate. Should I round up or should I round down? Most of us went to school. And if it's above 5, round up. If it's 5 or below, round down. So in this situation, I would just round up to $900, not 9,900. So you can see this offer is much cleaner. Doesn't have pennies and weird numbers. It's a very clean offer. Even this here, 259, just put 260. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, Deal Sniper will give you all the numbers. So once you copy this, just like that, you'll open up your email, you'll start a new email, you'll paste this in, and then you go back to the listing. And now you want to look for the listing agent. I see a lot of people saying they can put things here, or they'll put things here or here. Don't do that. This is all Redfin stuff that is going to get you to try and sign with them as the buyer's agent. The only person you want to talk to is Robert Van Meter. This guy. It'll always be in the same spot. Copy the entire name and the company. And then you just paste it into Google. And usually, right here, here's his email address. Copy the email. You got his name. You put the email address in the email. You put his name where it says Realtor. There. You put your contact information there and you hit send. If I wasn't teaching you guys how to do this, I could have been done in 2 minutes per offer. Now, let's say Robert responds positively. Hey, I want to talk to you about the deal. That's when I suggest you underwrite the deal with the calculator. So let's do that. And again, Deal Sniper will give you all the numbers. Does someone have a question? If you have a question, just start talking. I can't see that screen.
Hello, Sean. I know this is completely unrelated, but when it comes to the cash on cash return when selling it to homestead, is it like, can your cash on cash return be too low, or does
No,
it not matter at all?
cash on cash return only pertains to someone who's going to rent the property out. Someone who's going to live in the property, they don't care what the there is no cash on cash, zero, because they're living in it.
So I can send out the contract right now, even though the cash on cash return is 5.
Yeah, if the exit strategy is to sell it, that's the only thing you can do. It's either pass on the deal or try and sell it to a homestead buyer. So yeah, I mean, it's free to push a deal, and I'm a huge believer in if you got 1% chance of succeeding, go for it.
Okay.
We can
Okay,
all
I'm
be
a
Tony
second.
Stark. All right. So, like I was saying, Deal Sniper will give you all the information that you need. So we have a $285,000 purchase price, $20,000 down, $265,000 loan amount. So all you do is plug the numbers exactly where it says. And again, it'll give you all that. It's always a 0% deal. They're getting $20,000. Okay, good. Now we need to see what the rent is. Again, back to Deal Sniper. He'll tell you the estimated rent, about $2,100. And again, it's up to you if you want to round down to 2,000 or round up to 2,100. It really shouldn't matter that much when you're that close, but I'm going to put in 2,100. Who's going to pay $2,072 for rent? 2,100. Anyway, now you need the taxes and the insurance, 2145 and 1088. You're going to go over to this page here. And I forgot just that quick. 2145 and 1088. Got it. Okay. And then we're going to look to see. Now, I want to make this very clear because I know a lot of people sometimes it can get confusing, especially if you haven't watched my videos. This here will always give you what the payment should be. So let's say your realtor, let's say Robert responds. Well, actually, you know what? Hold on. Let me pause. Let me back up. You guys don't ever have to edit this number. You're going to put the monthly payment here. And that's again from Deal Sniper. What was it? $900. So we're going to go back over to this, put in $900. So now this is your deal. It has a 12.17 total entry fee percentage. That's phenomenal. We ideally want to keep it at 15 or below. Max is 20 for this box here. Your cash on cash return is 23.25. That's, again, phenomenal. It's a great deal. Deal Sniper will always, whatever it generates, will always give you a good deal. I mean, hell, I went up on this one. It'll always give you a good deal. I only recommend underwriting the deal if a realtor responds positively, because a lot of times they're going to have questions. They're going to want to negotiate. And when they want to negotiate, they're going to say, can we get a higher monthly payment? Or they're going to say, can we get more of a down payment? And you can literally use this calculator to figure that out. You already know that in this deal, the most you would be able to offer is $28,500. So you put $28,500 in there, right? So $28,500. And then you also have to change the loan amount. So now we're going to change this to 256. I think that's right. Now you see the payment changed. Everything else stays the same. Now let's go back. This jumped up to a little above 15%. You're still good. But yeah, it jumped up. Obviously, we're giving them more money as a down payment. And then this went down from 23 to 18. Still a great deal. Your minimum here is 10 for your cash on cash return. It's 10. So now, let me put this back. We'll go back to 20, because now we're going to go the other way. What if they want more monthly? So all you have to do is you're going to incrementally go up on this payment until that number hits 10. And that'll tell you the most that you can give them. So let's go 1,000. Okay. Let's go 1,200. Okay. 1,250. No, we still go 1,300. Okay, a little too much. So at what, 1,275? I mean, we can dial it in as much as we want. 1,285. 1,295. So now when you're on the phone with the realtor and they say, hey, we like your deal, everything's good, but can we get more monthly? First of all, when they ask you for more of something, your response should always be, I mean, maybe, but what were you guys looking for? And then let them tell you what they want. It's just easier. You don't play this back and forth thing. Okay, well, we want 1,500. Does 1,500 work? No. Your max is 1,295. You know what? Our buyers aren't going to be able to do that at 1,500. There won't be enough cash flow left for them to make this deal make sense. I'll tell you, what about 1,000? Can we do 1,000? I mean, you know how to negotiate. You come up a little, they come up a little, you come up a little, because you know your max. Your max is $1,295. Same thing on the down payment. Hey, I like your deal. Monthly payment's fine, but can we get more on the down payment? I don't know. Maybe. How much were you looking for? 50,000. You know what? Can't do 50,000. Now our buyers have very tight margins that they have to keep their deals in order for it to make sense. What's the best you can do? Full on best I can do? $28,500. If you can make that work, I think we can get this done. If not, hey, we're probably not the buyers for you. My favorite move is the takeaway. Don't mess with me. I'll just take the deal away. I don't care. I'll call your colleague and sell and buy their listing. You know what I mean? So that's how you explain it. Does anyone have any questions over what I just went over? Oh shit, Amber, what's up?
It's not about that specifically. That's why I didn't say
Oh.
anything yet.
Okay, hold on for me 1 second then.
I got
Does
you.
anyone have any questions about what I just went over? Awesome. Everyone understands it like a pro. Cool. So I'm going to take a mental note and don't answer no questions from y'all.
Oh my God, y'all, please ask him something.
I'm just kidding. Amber, what's up?
So mine is going to be specifically about the hybrid. I can't remember the way you got the calculations earlier. What were the first 3 steps? I know we're subtracting and subtracting. But
Oh, you mean how to get these numbers?
yes.
Okay. So what
Like,
you're
and
going to
then,
do,
and if you could reiterate when, like, how do we determine that it is a hybrid?
absolutely.
Thank you.
Purchase price minus mortgage minus down payment. And that'll equal your seller finance portion. Okay. So someone give me a mortgage amount, any number. Mortgage balance.
126.
Right.
Awesome.
126K.
126,000. Olivia, give me a purchase price higher than that number.
Purchase price 320,000.
Perfect. Okay, so $320,000 purchase price, and then 126 is the mortgage. Those are just for me, guys. You don't have to worry about those. So in this situation, if you're not on your phone, or if you can put me on speaker, I won't say anything vulgar. Pull out your calculator on your phone, and you guys follow along. Essentially, what you do is you take the purchase price. In this case, it's $320,000. So I'm punching that in my calculator. Then I'm going to subtract the mortgage amount. In this case, it's $126,000. Then I'm going to subtract the down payment. Well, how do I know what the down payment is? Well, the max is 10% of the purchase price. So the 10% of 320,000 is $32,000. So I'm going to subtract $32,000. Whatever's left is the seller finance amount. That's how you figure it out on a hybrid. So I'm going to put this one in, and you guys let me know if you got the same number that I got or if you got something different. So 126,000, 32,000 for the mortgage or for the down payment, and then this is $162,000. Did everybody get $162,000 from the seller finance amount? Or if you didn't get that, say something. Everybody got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Amber, did that answer your question?
Yeah, but how do we like what determines that it is a hybrid? What were you saying about that?
Versus a subject to?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the technical answer, and then I'll give you the easy way to remember it, because I think it's important that you guys know both.
Okay.
So the technical answer is we can only give a max of 10% of the purchase price. If it's a subject to, then that purchase price becomes the mortgage balance. So in this situation, the most that we could give this person would be $16,600. But if they're selling their house for $320,000, well, that's way more than 10% of the mortgage balance. So then we have to do a hybrid. So the easy way to remember that is if they're asking for way more than their mortgage balance, like more than 50 grand, then it's probably going to be a hybrid. If they're asking for pretty close to what the mortgage balance is as their original purchase price, the listing price, then it'll probably be a subject to. And you'll probably be able to give them more money in the long run than they would have got if they sold it traditionally. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sorry, I'm taking notes. I'm
Oh,
here.
no, that's okay. I just want to make sure because I can repeat anything if I need to for anybody. I
That
also
was
have a
good for me.
video literally on that exact same subject in the channel. Oh, and by the way, I kind of like arranged the channel a little bit. I added playlists and stuff like that. I'm going to try and keep up on that a little bit more to make it easier for you guys to navigate. But if you need me to put that video in the main chat, just let me know.
Hey, Sean,
What's up,
is
Leslie?
is the channel is the one on the Discord?
Which one are you in? Are you in? Oh, you're in
I'm trying to get
ERW.
your I'm trying to get your videos so I can study and
Oh, that's on YouTube. You want my link?
yeah.
I thought you had that. You said you were staying up
I
all
think
night watching
I,
my videos.
no,
I'm like, oh, okay.
I was that's the tweet you sent for me. The first time you sent me tweet, that was the tweet.
Oh, dude, my bad. I'm sorry.
That
I
wasn't the
totally misunderstood.
yeah.
It's in the group chat, this chat right now. You want me to put it on the ERW Discord?
Yes, please.
All right, I'll put
It's
it on there
easier
for
for
you.
me to get it there.
Yeah, that's no problem. Yeah, give me 1 second. No, I totally when you said, yeah, I stay up late and I watch your videos. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I thought you were talking about on my channel.
No. If I have your channel, I won't sleep.
All right, I just posted it right below the calculator
Okay.
link that I gave you earlier.
Okay. I'll take both of them.
Okay, cool. Does anyone else have any questions, or I can let you guys go? That's all I've got that I wanted to go over: creative financing and then the calculator. All right, cool. Well, you guys have a
All
great
right.
night. Let me know if you guys need any help. I'll probably be in the Discord for another few hours anyway. Yeah. How else am I doing?
Hello?
Yeah. What's up?
Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, before you go, Sean, I was trying to see if you can possibly do, and I don't know if you did when I might have missed it, just an example of a sub two. I'm not really too familiar with the sub two.
Oh yeah, we can do a sub two. That's fine.
All right,
Do you
appreciate
have
it.
numbers
Nothing in
to
particular.
run?
No, I don't. Just if you can
Okay.
just, I don't know if you can pull one off the top of your head and just an example,
Sure.
some numbers.
So, do you know what a subject to is, or do you need an explanation on that too?
From my understanding, I think you're just basically assuming or taking over, I guess, a mortgage that's in a seller's name, if I'm not mistaken.
You're very close. And you want to be careful with the verbiage that you use, especially if you're talking to realtors.
Okay.
So we're not assuming the mortgage. That's not a subject to. We're not
Okay.
taking over the mortgage in any way, shape, or form. What we are
Gotcha.
doing, the technical answer, is that we are, and by we, I mean the investor, is servicing the mortgage payment every single month. And it's a fancy way of saying we're making the payment for you.
Got it.
The mortgage on a subject to is still going to stay in the seller's name and under their social security number,
Okay.
even after we close.
Got it.
And what'll happen, in case they want to know how it works, we use a third-party title and escrow company, usually whatever escrow company we end up closing with. And that escrow agent is going to call the seller and they're going to say, hey, give me your mortgage login information. I'm going to attach the bank account to it. Then that same escrow officer is going to call the buyer, the investor, and say, hey, give me your routing number and your checking account number for whatever account you want to attach to this mortgage so that we can automatically draft your payment. Now, this next part that I'm going to say happens instantly, but I'm going to slow it down so everyone can see the steps. So on the first of the month, once the deal has been closed, on the first of the month, the money is going to be drafted from the buyer's bank account, whatever information they gave us, the escrow officer. It's going to go to escrow. Escrow is going to say, okay, check, got this month's payment, and then it's going to immediately go to pay the mortgage. Now, again, this happens almost instantly, but the third party is the escrow company. That way, if there's 1 month where they go to draft the money from the buyer's account and it doesn't, for whatever reason, doesn't matter, insufficient funds, bank account closed, doesn't matter. Now escrow knows, okay, we have a problem. They're going to let the seller know, hey, just so you know, we went to draft the payment, didn't come out. Then the escrow officer is going to call the buyer and say, hey, what's going on? You need that payment. Now, depending on what state you're in, this is going to be different. But typically, unless your state's like super weird, like I can't remember which one my team told me today, it was 120 days. But typically, this is a 30-day process, what I'm about to explain. And it's a deed in lieu. It's in our contract and it's statewide. And basically what that says is if the investor doesn't make the payment between 15 and 30 days, again, every state's different, then the deed in lieu process starts. And what that means is that same escrow officer is going to start to transfer the property out of the buyer's name and back into the seller's name. And I'm talking about the deed. And in the deed in lieu, especially in the clause that's in our contract, it says that our investor, our buyer, gives up all their rights to fight it. No foreclosure, no arbitration, no negotiating, no nothing. You didn't make the payment. You had a certain amount of time. Now you lose the house. And the best part is that the seller gets to keep the down payment. The buyer can't come back after them for that. Any improvements that the buyer may have done to the property to fix it up, that's free to the sellers. If there's a tenant in that property, that tenant, the lease, the rent, and the deposit, that all goes to the seller now. And if the seller wanted to, after the deed in lieu is done, the very next day they can sell it to somebody else. So that's how that works.
That.
So you still want me to run a deal?
Though, yeah, because I just wanted to see how the numbers work, because that's the biggest thing for me is I know I might see a property with a mortgage, but I'm not really sure. Now that you explain the process, I understand it. But with the numbers, it'll kind of shed more light on it, so I can just kind of see if I see one that might work, I'll know what to target.
Sure, absolutely. So what you're looking for and what makes a good subject to for everyone actually is, here's the situation. Low equity. That's a great subject too. Because that means, for anyone who doesn't know, they owe just about what their house is worth. So when they go to sell it, they're not making any money. That's a great time for a subject to, because in a lot of times you can help that seller get more money than they would have got if they would have sold it traditionally after paying closing costs and realtor commissions. Usually they walk away with nothing. Now, depending on the purchase price, we can have them walk away with 10, 20, 30 grand, depending on what the mortgage balance is.
Okay. Is there a certain equity percentage as far as on a low scale? What would we target, or it doesn't really matter?
It matters. I would say, because, well, it matters and it doesn't. If you're talking straight subject to, it matters. If the deal works as a hybrid, it doesn't matter. So if we're talking straight subject to, if they have less than 10% equity, you should be good.
Okay.
To at least attempt it. And then you
Got
use
it.
the
Okay.
calculator to see if the numbers actually pencil out.
Ron, I did have a question really quick. I'm sorry.
What's
You
up?
when you were talking about the way that the third party, gets involved, I know you mentioned the deed in lieu. How do they? So does it still go in? So it stays in the seller's name, but so how does the buyer, like? I guess I'm lost at that part. Like, what are they? If it's in the seller's name, what are they taking from the buyer? The
You're
buyer
talking
has
on
the
a
deed.
subject to?
Yeah.
So in a subject to, when the deal closes, and again,
Mhm.
I don't work for title, so this is
Mhm.
my interpretation of what's happening.
Mhm.
When that happens, all the paperwork is done, the bank account is connected, the deed now is in the buyer's name.
Oh, got it.
So they own the property, but the
Mhm.
mortgage is still in the seller's name and
Seller's
their social
name.
security number.
Okay, makes sense.
So if the buyer doesn't make the payment like they're supposed to, then
Okay.
escrow, the third party, and the reason why we use a third party is for reasons like this. We want to keep everybody like, hey, do what you're supposed to do. Like, you can't do nothing because there's a third overseer kind of watching this. So what happens is the
Mhm.
escrow agent says, oh, this payment hasn't been made. It's been 30 days. All right, well, we're taking it out of your name. That means the deed. The buyer loses it, meaning they
Right.
have no control, no ownership of the property anymore. It goes right back to the seller.
Okay, that's the little part that I just didn't click or got. But thank you so much. It put everything into perspective for me.
No problem. All right, Damon, let's work on this subject to deal. So give me a 3-digit number. Any 3-digit number.
3-digit number.
Yep.
Let's say 280.
280?
Yeah, 280. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's all good. Okay, so we're gonna say the mortgage balance is 280. Give me
Oh no, mortgage balance. I'm sorry. So let's say the mortgage balance is. I'm sorry. You said a 3-digit number for the mortgage balance.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just whatever you give me, I'm gonna put 3 zeros at the end.
Okay,
If you
yeah,
have a
we could
mortgage
just say
balance,
280. It doesn't
give me.
matter. We can say 280. That's fine.
All right. So, we'll do a monthly payment PITI of 1750. We'll do an interest rate of 4%. When you're doing subject twos, if the interest rate is higher than current market rates, your cash on cash return better be good, or the entry fee better be low, because otherwise we're not giving the buyers any incentive. I mean, a little bit, but you know what I mean? Not the same. So cash to seller, the most we could give them is $28,000, because that'll be 10% of the balance, which in a subject to, the balance now becomes the purchase price. We want to make at least 10. I did have someone tell me the other day they wanted to make less money. I talked them out of that real quick. And then we'll just say the rent's 2,500. Okay. So this would be a mock-up deal, and you're not going to get this information from Deal Sniper. So if you go back and you hit yes. Oh, I'm sorry. For a subject to, yes, it will do this. For a hybrid, it will not. So you could literally put 280 and then their monthly payment, what did I say it was? 1750? Let's see what they say. And boom, there's your offer. Huh. Good for you guys, Deal Sniper. You guys are on one lately. So you can always do that. But if it's a hybrid deal, you need to use this. Deal Sniper doesn't know how to do hybrids yet. But let's look at the numbers breakdown. So once you have this column, this column filled out, you just go to the corresponding tab below. I got to change this to 1750. We're going to change the interest rate back to 400 or 4%. So if I look at this deal right now, unless there's an HOA, in this situation, we'll just for easy numbers, we'll assume there isn't one. It's got a 13.7% entry fee, which is below 15. That's great. And it's got a 13.76 cash on cash return. That's pretty good too. So this deal would absolutely work. And just so everyone's on the same page, subject twos are the deals where you have the least amount of wiggle room, because everything is fixed. There's nothing for you to change to make the deal better. What affects the cash on cash return the most across all creative deals is the monthly payment, the debt that's coming out of the cash flow, all the expenses. So if I go to seller finance fit out, okay, good. So let's take a look at this one, for example. I think this one originally was 900. Okay, yeah, it was. So the only thing that we can change to manipulate this cash on cash return in a positive way is this monthly payment, because the rent is what it is. A house is going to rent for whatever it's going to rent for. Same thing with a mortgage. The mortgage payment is the mortgage payment. The rent is the rent for that property. So if those two bump and the cash on cash return is not good enough, there's nothing you can do, at least in a seller finance and even a hybrid. You can negotiate this number lower to make the deal cash flow properly in order to make it sell. On a subject to, you can't do that. On a hybrid, you can. And even on this one, here's one that I did earlier. This one obviously doesn't work. Even if I put 0. Oh, okay. So if I put 0, it does work. So what if I do 100? You can give them $100 a month. It's not likely that they're going to take it, but I literally had someone do a hybrid deal, turned in a contract 3 days ago, and this was $135 a month. So it's possible. I was just as surprised as anybody else would be, but it's possible. But on a subject to, you have no wiggle room. The mortgage payment is what it is. The rent is what it is. Damon, did that answer your question?
Yes, sir. I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Not a problem. Who's got a question? Darren, what's up?
Can you do another sub 2 deal? Like, can I tell you numbers to put in? And
Oh,
you
to see
can
if it works?
Yeah,
Yeah, we can do that. What's the mortgage balance?
225. The PITI is 2,000. The interest is 3, and the cash The seller's 20,000.
Okay. What will it rent for?
2,400.
Ooh, I can already tell that's gonna be tight.
No, it's gonna be it's bad. But the thing is, he was talking about a homestead buyer, but I don't know. And the house is listed for 450,000. So I don't get
Wait
it.
a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Because then something's off. Did they agree to subject to?
Yeah. I asked for the mortgage statement and she was like, the loan balance is 225 and she gave me the PITI and all that.
Okay, but did you send her a contract?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So my concern is that this isn't going to be a subject to. What did they list the property for originally?
450.
Okay. So this is probably going to be a hybrid. And this, and I don't think you were on the call earlier when I said this, but if their listing price is way more than their mortgage balance, it's probably going to be a hybrid. Because what they're essentially trying to do is they're trying to capture how much you say it was listed for? 450?
Uh-huh.
So they're trying to capture like $225,000 worth of equity.
Yeah, that's
So
what I was.
they're not going to just give that away and just let you take over their mortgage and then they're going to get $20,000 and walk away. So in this situation, it's going to be a hybrid. And if anyone wants to follow along, I just grab my calculator and I'm going to plug all the information back in here, but I'm going to put that number last. That way you guys can see if you're getting it right.
Okay.
So it's a $450,000 purchase price. I'm putting that in my calculator. I'm going to subtract $225,000 for the mortgage. And then in this situation, the most that we can give them is $45,000 as a down payment. So I'm going to put that into the deal. That leaves me with, does anyone need me to like go slow or you guys got it? The seller finances amount is $180,000. Let me know if you got something different. We'll figure it out. And then the rest of the information is the same. You said it was 3, didn't you? Yeah. Okay, good. Cash to seller, 45,000. And then this was 2,400. Yep. All right. So hybrid deals are difficult because in order to sell it, let me start over. Hybrid deals are difficult because on the buyer's perspective, not only are they paying this $2,000 mortgage, but they're also going to have to be paying something to the seller to start chipping away at that $180,000 seller financed amount. So I can tell you right now, this deal's probably not going to work, at least for an investor. So let's put 2,000 in here. Change this to 4%. Yeah, I mean, giving the seller $100 a month towards this 180,000 makes the cash on cash return 1.2%.
Okay.
It's
I
not
had
gonna
a I was figuring like it's not gonna work at all. But
that doesn't mean you can't sell it.
but
It's you're lowering. I'm gonna be straight with you guys. You're lowering your chance of selling it. It's like 50-50 now. You know what I mean? And that's because you need to find a homestead buyer. So let me ask you a couple of questions and then we'll adjust that percentage accordingly. What condition is the house in?
it's renovated. So it's completely new, just no furniture.
Okay. All right. And it's vacant. Good. How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms?
3 bed, 2 bath.
Okay. That's good too. And it'll rent for 2,400.
Yes, sir.
So in this situation, I'm gonna go $200-300 above rent because the idea behind that is if you're paying this to rent, you'll pay this to buy it, to own it, right? And then we're gonna go up a little bit. So let's see, the rent's 2,400. I'll go up to 2,600, which would mean the total payment they would get is $600. So now we have this. So now it'd be on you to sell these terms to the seller. And the lower you get this number, obviously, the better. But you got to remember, odds are stacked against you because they're going to equate this payment as to what's going to be chipping away at that. So chances are this is probably going to have a balloon on it if you've got any chance of getting this done. And that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. You just want to make sure that the balloon is at least 180,000, at least 7 years.
I feel like that's a really low chance.
It is.
Who would wanna,
But if it's, well, hey, because you got to remember, look at it from the seller. We looked at it from the buyer's point of view. Now look at it from the seller's point of view. How long has this house been on market?
40 days.
And you're saying it's renovated, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means they put a bunch of money into this house, and now they're missing that money until they get it sold. You're giving them positive cash flow every single month. They're getting an asking price on a property that's not moving. It's not a lot of benefits, but it's some.
Okay. And like because I didn't even approach it as a hybrid, I approached it as a sub 2. So I texted her and she texted me back saying, 20K, help me understand the terms because that doesn't seem like a lot of money at all. And I was thinking the same thing. And I don't know. I feel like I'm just going to scratch it.
Against a $450,000 purchase price, I mean, 20K, I mean, it's still only $5,000 less than what the max we would give her anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But 20K against $225,000, that's a different story. But 20K against $450,000, yeah, it's not as much.
And I got another question. This is my last one. When it comes to I saw this one house. I was talking to them. I think the loan balance was like 650,000, but they only had it listed for like I think it was like 500,000. And I was so confused. I was like, why would they get a loan on a house? Did it depreciate? Like,
wait, the loan I mean, yeah, they could be upside down on the house. Maybe took out a second or something like that, a HELOC, and now they're upside down. That's entirely possible.
Because he was like he needs 140,000 on top to move, and I was like, what? And he's like, the property would easily appraise to 857. So I don't know what he was talking about. I left him on delivered, but
how long is that house been on the market?
I think 180 days.
Yeah, that would make sense because it's upside down.
So do I even respond or I just?
I mean, you can present him an offer, but it doesn't sound like he's going to take it because even if the house was on market for 850,000, the most we would give him is 85,000, and that's not 140.
Okay.
So it comes down to time. You know, how much time do you have? Do you have enough time to try and make this one fit the mold, or is your time better spent finding one that's already kind of fitting?
Yeah, I think my time is better elsewhere.
All right.
Thank you, Sean.
No problem, dude. Anybody else have any questions? Going once?
I feel like you've been so helpful, and I'm like, I don't want to bother you.
Oh,
Okay,
no,
so
what I'm doing.
I'm going through everything right now because I didn't get a chance last night to look through anything, and I when I heard about this, I'm like, this is so great, like the app, or sorry, like the website itself. I'm just, I guess I'm a little bit nervous because I don't know, when I send the email, do I just like do they need to, they don't need to know that I am a realtor. I still would say I'm a wholesaler, right?
Oh, yeah, you don't have to tell anybody you're a realtor.
I don't have to tell them that, right?
No, not at all.
Okay. I just don't, I'm just like, oh, how should I approach them, since when I originally started doing it with my license, I was actually under a company. So I would
Mhm.
just say like, Jamil's company or whatever when I would call. So that was easy to hide under, as opposed to now it's just me doing it by myself.
Yeah, you don't have to
Um,
tell them you're a real estate agent. You don't have to tell
mhm,
them nothing. I mean, you can tell them your first name. I mean, obviously, you can tell
mhm,
them your full name too. But
mhm,
I'm going to tell you how many
mhm,
times I've been kneecapped talking to either a seller or a realtor on the phone. Zero.
Mhm. Zero. Oh
There's
wow.
nothing that's going to happen to you
Mhm.
doing this. You know,
Right.
the absolute worst thing will probably also be the funniest thing. Someone will cuss you out.
Right. That is old. That's old
Yeah.
now.
So
Okay.
no, as far as telling them you're a realtor, you don't have to tell them that. I would 100% say tell them you're a wholesaler. And if they're on the fence or they seem chill or whatever, and then
Mhm.
you feel comfortable, hey, look, just so we're on the same page. I also have my real estate license. I just do this also. You can
Okay.
drop it at that point, but you don't have to
Mhm.
tell everyone straight from the jump that you're a real estate agent.
That I'm a realtor. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We know how offended they can get. So,
It's just bad wholesalers. That's all it is.
no, but to be honest with you, that is not. It is bad wholesalers, but I think before that, what I was telling you, when everybody was, on, it's really they don't understand the amount of them that tell me like, or even me, my cousin and I actually, started posting more in groups to kind of like get like realtor groups, kind of get these realtors to understand like you can do this. And the amount of them that attacked us, it was ridiculous. They were like, we didn't go to school to do this and do that and do things unethically. Like they really believe that it's illegal.
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
mean it comes to if you can, and that's why I kind of like the way Romney was saying that he builds rapport with people is
Mhm.
to have them open to hearing at least hearing him out.
Mm,
I think if and obviously you're going to have a leg up talking to realtors. You know the trigger words, the buzzwords. You know how to
yeah.
communicate with them. But for
Hmm.
anyone who's not a realtor, if you can just get them open to hearing you out. And the
Right.
best way to do that to me is just be honest. Tell them the
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
Here's where I'm coming from. Here's what I'm trying to accomplish. Here's what we need. I've done this before. We can do it again. This property is a good candidate. You're still going to get paid. We're going to take care of everything. If it works, great. If it doesn't, it's going to cost you 2 weeks. And their house has been listed for so long. What's 2 more weeks?
Right. 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 Makes sense.
So that's
Okay.
pretty much it.
Okay. So I guess I can start doing some deals tonight. I'm nervous.
Just send them out.
Okay. Okay.
And I'll tell you what's going to happen. If you put
Mhm.
your phone number on there, you're going to get a text or you're going to get an email.
Okay.
And they're going to ask you, what is this? What are you
What is
talking
this
about?
about?
Give me more details. Or they're going to tell you no. And
Right.
at that point, set up a phone call. And then you
Okay.
can talk to them for a little bit. And
Mhm.
then maybe drop that hey, just so we're on the same page, I'm also a realtor. Okay.
Okay.
I also do this so I can help people. I think we can get this done with this property. Give me 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Let me try. You're still going to get paid. Matter of fact, you want to double in the deal? That's fine by me. My buyers are paying. It's on them.
Right. Okay. Makes sense. You have been a breath of fresh air because every other group that I have gone into, they will try to nickel and dime you to get this information and have someone explain it thoroughly. Like, you pay for this, pay for that. And it's exhausting. It's just like, just tell me what to do so we can all make the money.
Yeah, that's why I posted it for any new people on here that don't know this. I don't charge for one-on-ones. When I'm telling
Mhm,
people in the
mhm,
main chat, schedule a one-on-one if you need it, those are free. Like they're all on the YouTube channel. They're all free. I'm just gonna
right.
record it and post it in case someone else has the same question.
Correct.
So schedule it if you need help. That's literally why I'm here.
Hey, Sean,
What's up, dude?
you are a blessing and God gonna bless you, man.
I'm telling you.
Because
Oh,
I know
appreciate it.
people charge $25,000 just to do what you're doing.
Yo, my
Yeah,
my friend
no.
paid for a 30-minute consultation from a really big wholesaler on Instagram, of course. 300, I think he paid him $300 for 30 minutes. And he literally told because my friend does wholesaling in Nashville for another company. And he told him, dude, you're lazy. That was all he took away from the conversation.
Oh wow. Well,
Is that
that's
my is that my friend is lazy.
well, tell him to hit up Deal Sniper.
I was like, wow, you paid $300 for somebody to tell you that you're lazy.
Damn, that's cold. No, I don't gatekeep anything. I'm here. You know, fuck else am I doing? Sorry, mom. If you guys need help, I'm gonna help you. Malia, what's up? You're muted if you. Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah. So I've been in here a few days, and this would be my first time wholesaling. So as of right now, I'm kind of learning as I go, going through the YouTubes and going through all the value that you have in the section with the recorded calls and then the YouTube. So as a newcomer, the best way to kind of go ahead and tackle everything is just like doing your offers daily and just going through the information.
Absolutely. And here's
Okay.
another thing too. Beyond the calls and all this stuff in the Discord, I'm sure you guys have seen it. If a realtor responds to you and you don't know what to say, post it. Either me or someone will immediately tell you exactly how to respond, or it's in the cheat sheet already. But if you have a deal or someone wants to talk about your terms, just DM me. I'll tell you exactly what to prepare for, what to say. If they say this, say that. I can't tell you guys everything. I'm not that kind of psychic, but I can tell you just about what they're going to say and how to handle it. And then I'll tell you how to get out of it in case you don't know. Hey, you know what? That's my partner Sean's kind of area of expertise. Give me 10 minutes. Let me ask him. I'll call you right back. And then just DM me. I'll tell you exactly what to say. Well, Wolf of Wall Street, this whole thing, but legally.
And it's like I'm learning a lot about that with you, just listening to your one-on-one calls on the YouTube. And that literally teaches a lot about, what to kind of say back and forth to them. And that kind of gave me the courage to just jump on in and set
Yeah, just do it.
offers.
Nothing's going to happen. The worst thing they're
Yeah.
going to say is no. If they cuss you out, do what everyone else does. Post it in the chat. It's hilarious. It's funny. And as far as the videos, I'm sure a lot of you guys have noticed I sound different on each one. Those are those personalities. Don't trip. All the information's good. It's all coming from the same place. It's just being delivered a different way.
Okay.
Any other questions? I'm here until you guys need me. Or don't need me. Yeah, don't need me. Holy shit, it is late. Maybe I should stop. No, seriously, any other questions?
You
All
can
right.
do a 3-year balloon with a 7-year appraisal. Like,
Yeah.
that's attractive to buyers too, or
Yeah, because essentially it's best case scenario a 10-year balloon, which is great, or worst case scenario it's a 3-year balloon. That's fine. Just make sure you put in the appraisal clause. You're copying it from the one I sent you the first time, right?
yeah.
That has the 40%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're good. That's going to take a minimum of 3 to 4 years anyway, probably depending on the area. Maybe 3. So you should be okay. Any other questions? All right, awesome. I'm going to end this one here. If you guys need anything, you guys can hit me up in the Discord. Otherwise, have a great night. I'll talk to y'all later.